with Chris, and she lives in White River Township, and she is situated on the very far east side of the township. And she's going to talk a little bit about the history of her family here in the township, and where the 1,700 acre proposed solar, utility scale solar plant would be, that's being proposed by National Grid Renewables and Lakeside Solar. Her property and her house will definitely be affected by it. So why don't you tell me a little bit about your family's history in the area?
My family has been in this area for about 5 generations. They have farmed this land around here and enjoyed the views that we see here for generations. I have lived within probably the same 2-mile radius because life in the country is in my blood and I love it here and would just hate to see it change.
And how long have you been here on your property, your piece of property here?
I've been here almost 25 years.
Okay. And show everyone here, this is her backyard. And the reason that National Grid chose this township is because of these major power lines that go through right here. It allows them to hook into these already existing structures. It makes it easy for them. The land is flat and they don't have to invest in a lot of extra electrical work other than what they need for their grid. So why don't you, we're going to move a little bit closer to the field. Why don't you show me where your property line is and explain where the where the solar panels would start. And this is the southeast end of the boundary.
My property technically goes about halfway out to the power lines there. It's kind of farmed at this point because that's just how it's been, old farmer handshake deal since I moved in. So we just kind of are chill, you know, out here and get along up until all of this started going on with the solar panels. Basically the tree line you see at the back of the field, everything beyond that, as far as you can see to the trees all the way back on the horizon, would all be panels and metal if National Grid gets the amount that they want out here. It would decimate this whole view, everything you see from here.
So that's north, west, and south. And then of note, over here in the corner, her neighbor, who is one of the contracted farmers, just past that big utility transmission pole, on the other side of the road there by that group of trees is where, according to National Grid's site boundary map, will be placed the large battery systems that are used for utility solar. When you have really large utility solar plants, you need these large batteries. And according to their map shows between 4 and 5 large batteries the size of train cars. They're behemoth. And I know that you raise bees. Are you concerned about what the high frequency pitch will be from the 5 big batteries that are literally be you and your neighbor here, who I believe is an elderly gentleman, who will be completely 360 surrounded from all angles? That farmstead right there, the white house and the white barn, the poor gentleman will be completely surrounded. Are you concerned about the bees?
I'm very concerned about this whole setup. And any sort of electrical produces a frequency, which is harmful to animals, humans, everything. And the bees are super sensitive to it. I've heard time and again at meetings from people who are wanting this that they'll plant pollinator gardens. To me, that is luring in these pollinators into a dangerous area. It can affect them, it can disorient them, and we're already struggling with honeybees and colony collapse and all sorts of struggles for them. So yeah, I'm very concerned about the well-being of all of the wildlife out here with that and with the space that they will lose to live and survive out here.
And do you support renewable resources, renewable alternative energy?
I absolutely support it in an appropriate location and at an appropriate scale. It can't be something that's going to harm what we already have. To me, it makes no sense to take away an entire community of green space and habitat to put up man-made items that are going to drastically affect everybody. If there's a location where it will affect less people, less wildlife, then I feel that is an appropriate space to put it. Potentially a brownfield, some area that has less houses. People live out here. It's not just farming. There's 90 some houses that would be on the boundaries of this whole setup. That's people's homes, that's people's well-being and people's life. And you know, I live out here because it's peaceful. To me, this view is, at sunset time, this is the best one in the township if you're not on the lake. You know, this is my tiny piece of paradise, and to think I could lose it is devastating. It's devastating many people out here. Mental health would not be good if this happens, and you know, we can't afford that. The cost is too great for something as big as they're wanting out here.
In light of the recent news coming from Lansing that the state is considering taking complete control over the siting and placement of these really large utility sites, how do you feel about that? Losing your voice, losing your right to be able to have a say in how the township follows zoning laws. We have zoning laws in this township that everyone has to follow. This proposal, this project would be a special use permit, but how do you feel about the state taking control away from local communities all over the state of Michigan?
I am absolutely terrified of that. It's horrific. This is America. We are supposed to have a voice here. We have elected people to look out for our well-being, our lives, our area. We're trusting them to do that. Saying you can come in here and take this away from me, that is not okay. We should be able to stand up for what we want, what we believe in. They don't know. Have they sat in my backyard with me and seen this and the peace that it brings? They don't know my area. They can't make decisions for people they don't know, for places they don't know. You know, would the governor like it if they decided to go up to Traverse City and put solar panels all over all those beautiful vineyards up there? Do you want to sit in your vacation home and look at that? I can't afford a home in Traverse City. I don't have that. I have this. This is my area, my home. I should have a voice in making a decision about what happens to it.
Is there anything else you'd like people to know about White River Township?
White River Township is a jewel. People come here from everywhere to enjoy what we have year round. Tourists come here, they enjoy our beaches, they enjoy driving through here, seeing the beautiful fields, seeing the wildlife, unwinding, relaxing, and just being with nature. We can't lose that. It would be awful. There is nowhere else like this, in my opinion, and it's wonderful, and I hope we can please preserve it.
Thank you for sharing your story with us.